gamers, 12 games, 24 hours. Resident Evil Challenge 2022.
Woo! How's everybody doing? Before we get into this, just want to check. I've learnt my lesson. Just want to check how are we looking for sound, audio. Just want to check voice levels before we get too carried away with this. How are we sounding? Just let me know if you can hear and see me all good, and then we'll get stuck in. 27 people watching right now. Thank you very much for joining so last minute. Yeah, really good to see you all back here. Looking good. You too, Seedol. Always looking good. Yai and Courtney, Itchy Tasty, Princess Leia, LTRE, good to see you, my man. Benjamin Griffiths, Rocket Lawn Chair, one of the best usernames ever. Demo Morg, Izzy, Toxic Gamer, Herm. Wow, yeah, great turnout. Sounds lovely, chap. Wonderful. Well, I'll start off with that. That's my good starting point. Firstly, apologies for the audio during the challenge over this weekend. Yeah, obviously, many things to set up technically. And yeah, it wasn't until I watched it on my phone yesterday. And yeah, just obviously mine and Nathan's audio was very peaky, very loud. The mix, yeah, I wasn't the happiest with. So apologies for that. And I'm completely amazed you guys managed to put up with such bad audio for 24 hours. So yeah, that just goes as a testament for that. But we'll get into everything about the challenge. But yeah, let's just want to explain the sort of concept tonight, because this is a bit of a new one for Resident Evil Challenger. We haven't really done like Hangout streams or anything like that before. But yeah, I just thought like after this weekend, it's been a real emotional roller coaster. I'm sure everyone will agree with that. But yeah, I just like saw like everyone on the Discord yesterday, such post-challenge blues. We'd gone from like such highs of adrenaline and everything. And trust me, I felt the same. And yeah, I just thought, let's get a little stream going. Let's have a little chat. We can look back over the weekend, talk about our favourite moments, talk about improvements, talk about how we can make this better in the future. And yeah, any questions, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to ask, just at me in the chat and I'll try and read out questions as we go along. So this is a little collaborative Hangout stream. We'll probably be going for about an hour this evening because, like all of you guys, I want to play Callisto Protocol. I just went and bought my copy. It's sitting downstairs. So yeah, I want to do this for about an hour and then I'm going straight onto my PlayStation for that. But yeah, definitely thought we would jump in with this. So yes, Challenge 2022. What a weekend it was. The second time we ever tried to do the 3 gamer challenge. And the second time, this guy fucked it up. Yeah, I'm realising I'm definitely being like quite hard on myself. And I was like a lot of people gutted at the end, gutted that it was literally that far away from getting a challenger win. However, as lovely as it would have been to have finished 3 hours ahead of the time, 2 hours ahead of the time, there's nothing in this world like that adrenaline of getting down to the final minutes and knowing that any action can make it or break it. Every single message that people pop in the chat, you know, can dictate whether it's going to make it. Like, I don't know how we've had this happen for the past 3 challenges. It's like it's scripted, but it's not. Completely out of the blue that we've just been able to get that close to the wire. You know, Challenge 2021, the 3 gamer challenge, you know, on the final nemesis within the last 10 minutes. Could have done it in time, unfortunately didn't then. Solo challenge last year, managed to succeed, but had 15 minutes left on the clock, not an hour, not an hour and a half, 15 minutes. And then yesterday, being on the final bosses of the final game with 10 minutes on the clock, like I just cannot believe it, because like through all of the seasons that we've done, it's never been that close, or the times that it has have been so few and far between. But to have 3 challenges back to back that have had such a big adrenaline rush, it's just, yeah, it's madness, it's crazy. So oh, Milo, unbelievable. So Cedar says, you done the best you could have done, you tried your best, but Resident Evil 2 just wasn't going right for you at all. That wasn't your fault. So we'll go through the games. I was going to talk about some of those and break them down a little bit. But on your point of the debug menu, I don't know how it was mapped to controller. No idea. It was mapped to some button. I mean, Rob he did actually say during the chat whilst I was playing it, he did give me the fix for it, but it meant having to go into a lot of settings and change it and do some coding changes, which at that point, having been awake for, well, over 24 hours at that point, just really didn't fancy it. And also every minute counted. So I didn't think it would have been that much of an issue. But sometimes you can only laugh. Like I've gone back and looked at that moment of being on the final G forms and having the debug menu, like literally, you know, like the amount of things that have happened over the years. Really did not think a debug menu and teleporting through rooms would be a thing that we'd have to contend with. But, you know, that's the dramas of the challenges for you. So, yeah, that was hilarious. Melback in the house saying, will you be streaming Resident Evil 4 Remake on a live stream for us? It's a very good question. Really, really good question. I'm still trying to figure it out. And the short answer is I can't give an answer about it yet. There's a big part of me that really wants to. Like, I have really enjoyed the blind playthroughs. The blind playthrough of Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 3 Remake, you know, my initial playthroughs were done live on stream. And they were great. They were really fun. And it was cool to collaborate with you guys. And you did a really good job at just pushing and prodding me to things that I needed to know. But all the little secrets and hints and puzzles and stuff, you did a great job at, you know, not revealing. So that was cool. But also at the same time, with Resident Evil 4, like, it is a different experience when you can do it in your own time and you can figure it out. So that is to be determined. I'll confirm that once I've had a bit more of a thought about it. But one thing I can assure you is that there definitely will be some content when Resident Evil 4 Remake does come out. So it may not be my initial blind playthrough. Maybe it's I try a higher difficulty after I've done an initial playthrough and then I do, like, you know, if they've got professional mode or something like that, maybe we do that as a playthrough, or some challenge or something. So yeah, that's definitely something that we need to figure out. Zemnis says, don't go so big balls next time. Also, maybe curtail your British stubbornness. So on that point, I didn't intentionally go mega big balls this time. So, well, I mean, I did, but not intentionally. Like, all of the stipulations that were drawn up, none of them were my ideas. All of them I took from the stipulation workshop. And I thought they were all cool ideas. And they were all ideas which I've never tried before. And most of them I practiced. Madhouse, I practiced a couple of times. Resident Evil 2, I practiced a couple of times. And both of those, like, they were definitely challenging. They definitely took a while. But I thought I actually did a pretty good job with them. Especially on 7, playing it without any defense coins, no Albert pistol, nothing special whatsoever. Beating that in about 7.5 hours, I was actually pretty pleased with. And Resident Evil 2 Remake, I was also really pleased with. It was just G3, Lab Birkin. I just used up too much ammo going through the lab, underestimated how much ammo is needed for that boss fight, and yeah, that's what slowed that down. But aside from that, everything else was fine, even Final Mr. X. And then yeah, Resident Evil 2 Nightmare Mode, that I will take credit for. I screwed up and that I just didn't practice it, and I didn't do my homework for it. The stipulation idea that had been posted was handgun only, and because it was handgun only, I thought it, you know, the amount of times I've done handgun only on Resident Evil 2, like, we must have done it in challenges at least 5 times before. And because we had that Nougie's Christmas Nightmare stream 2 years ago, I have done Nightmare Mode before, and as I kind of said yesterday, I really did not think it was going to be a massive issue. Had beaten it, thought it was all going to be Gucci. But yeah, it's just so many zombies. And the thing is, handgun only, you just can't afford the ammo to kill the zombies. I think I killed maybe 3 zombies because I just had to do it to save the health. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have made it through. And yeah, I definitely should have practiced that one. So that's on me. Lesson learned. But never mind. You know, the thing is, the frustrating thing was that it was just that close. And it's always a fine balance, as I say, while finding something that's entertaining, something that's going to push yourself, something that you're going to, get something out of, but also that's not frustrating and doesn't fuck the challenge up. So it's a fine line. So next time I'll certainly do a little bit more research. Let's go back through the messages. So Benjamin Griffith says, there's one step I had in mind for community dice in the future, but I doubt this will happen. But here it is, no damage. Well, Ben, going from what we just spoke about, no big balls, I'm probably not going to do that. If Izzy or Nathan fancy doing it, I will leave them to it themselves. Jordan Griffith says, those four-legged mongrels on RE7 Madhouse difficulty are an absolute nightmare fuel for it. Honestly, like, they are where I had most of the deaths. I think Jack Baker, in total, I had 3 deaths through 3 boss fights. And the four-legged wankers, as I end up calling them, must have had at least 10 deaths. And I think all the other deaths were from Marguerite, really. But yeah, four-legged molded is just the worst. If you don't get your head shots on them in your first couple of shots, totally screwed and you're insta-killed. Seedol says, I think if you had a bit more time, you could have done RE2 Nightmare. But when you had about 2 hours left on the timer, I was concerned that you had left yourself short. I really don't know if Nightmare mode on RE2 would have been possible. Because I really didn't use much ammo at all. Like, as I said, I think I only killed like 3 or 4 zombies in the RPD. And I didn't kill any dogs, like didn't kill any lickers, didn't kill anything else. So the ammo that I saved, I saved like quite a lot. Like I was going into the first Birkin fight and I had like 120 spare handgun rounds or something like that. So yeah, there wasn't loads of spare ammo really at all. And yeah, it just meant that getting to the blob Birkin, there just wouldn't have been a load of spare ammo. So I really don't know how doable it was. I just didn't realise that the bosses would be such tanks as well. They took so much more damage to do. So yeah, again, lesson learned. In the chat, like, how many people here have like tried Nightmare mode on RE2 themselves? I know that Morgan was saying yesterday that he tried it, and he was like, if I'd been awake, I definitely would have advised you to have not tried it. But yeah, Nightmare mode wasn't the one yesterday. I mean, Nathan encountered this on 3 Remake. The difference there being was when he was struggling, he was like, okay, let's try something different. So maybe I should have taken that approach. But I guess also at the same time, like when we have done that in the older challenges, and the reason why I'm so stubborn these days, and maybe this is all totally my fault, but just whenever you do like chop and change stipulations, the amount of comments of people be like, oh, you guys cheated, oh, you bent the rules, oh, that's not a legitimate victory, all those kind of things. They've just really stuck with me. And whenever I get to a point of thinking like, oh, should we adapt it? That's what's going through my mind at the time. And so I just have become so stubborn, which is definitely, playing to my detriment. But, as I said, it's always a balance with these things. Thank you for the support, Izzy. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with 7. Marguerite was a real pain in the arse, but aside from that, it was a pretty good run. Really happy with that. And yeah, Izzy absolutely smashed Village. Hardcore mode, like, yeah, you got End of Zoe, blind playthrough, and Village on hardcore mode. I think it took you maybe like an hour more than me just doing 7 Madhouse. So yeah, that was an absolutely insane time. So you absolutely smashed that. Toxic Gamer says, I'm currently on RE4 Pro, no healing on Twitch, and I have to survive on 1 HP oh, fuck, of health all the way through its hell. Why are you doing that to yourself, man? Why are you doing it? Chris Tennant says, Nougie challenge was perfect. Shame about the loss, but at least you accomplished a lot and you made it fun and entertaining. It certainly was. It was a lot of fun. It was entertaining. The thing I was just gutted about was that I just couldn't have at least finished the last game, but it really just seemed like the stars weren't aligning. And yeah, I could just see how knackered everyone was. And I was like looking over at like Izzy, Nathan, Jordan, and they just looked absolutely destroyed. And And, you know, very rightly so. And I was just like, I'm just not going to keep putting people through this pain. Sometimes you just got to know when it's the right time to call it. I think we put in about as much time as we could. And with what happened with the debug menu, I think it was a sign from somewhere else that it just wasn't meant to be there. I mean, we wouldn't have got a victory anyway, so yeah, never mind. Sorry, just reading through some of these messages. Nice, cool. So yeah, the next thing I was going to do, I'm just going to quickly just recap over a couple of bits from the challenge. So let's just go through. Let's go through some of the stuff we did. So Resident Evil 4 race. Most people that I've spoken to about the challenge have said that this has been the highlight of the challenge. Something we've never done before, a three-way race. I mean, we had the Zero race last year, which was really cool with Nathan and Izzy. But a three-way race, like, I honestly think it's one of the best things we ever did. It was great. It was so cool. I loved it. And the adrenaline of how much it chops and changed. You know, it started off like I had a death in under 5 minutes. And then classic Nathan steamrolled it through, was in the lead. And then Izzy was in the lead. And then I was in the lead. And then Nathan was in the lead. And then I was in the lead. And it just kept changing. It was just such a great idea. And it's definitely something that I want to return to and do again. 100% for sure. The question is, the next time we do it, because I feel like RE4 is a good one to do it for. I did see during the challenge some people mentioned about doing an RE5 race, which we could potentially do. But I just get the sense that like RE4, I feel was the one game which me, Nathan and Izzy are closest to in skill levels. Because all being said, like I'm actually not that great at RE5, and Nathan and Izzy both very good at RE5. RE4, I feel we're all pretty level with, so it's a good one to race with. But the question is that the next time we do a race with it, do we do the original or do we do Resident Evil 4 Remake? I mean, I guess we need to play through Remake first and kind of see how that plays. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like initially, right now, are you thinking 4 Original would work better because, you know, we've all had the years and the time to like craft our skills at it? Or do you think it's something different, something fresh to go for 4 Remake? Let me know what you think. Cedo says, never feel like you let anyone down. You, Izzy, and Nathan, all the mods have done an amazing job. The last 2 years, raising all that money for charity, you're winners. Yeah, I mean, like, you guys gave so much love and support at the end of the challenge. I knew that everyone felt deflated. Everyone felt gutted. The challenge room, like, felt awful. Like, no one was trying to make me feel bad or anything, but I could just feel like the air had been sucked out of the room. So yeah, that sucked. And yeah, being like really honest, being really open, like all yesterday I felt pretty crappy. Got back home, stayed up until about 9 p.m. Thought I'd then sleep the whole way through, and I didn't. It was just on my mind a lot. It really got to me. I just felt like so disappointed because yeah, we'd done so well and we had such a great turnout, and you know, we hit our target, we hit 3k subs, and we had like such great turnout. We had so many guests that appeared and everything in the chat. It was awesome, and it just felt like because it was the same outcome that we had with the 3-gamer challenge last year. Almost to the minute, it was like exactly the same. I was just like, how has this happened again? And yeah, I just really couldn't sleep very well. It really bugged me. And that was also another reason why I was just like, let's do a Hangout stream. Because I was just like, just want to be open. I want to talk to you guys about it. I just want you guys to know how I felt after that. Because yeah, I know it's not all about winning and everything, but yeah, it was a shame because we were so close, and Nathan and Izzy absolutely smashed it, worked their asses off. So it was a little bit gutting, but yeah, thank you for the messages and thanks for the love. It does mean a lot. Zemna says, if something is proving too difficult to compete, switching to something more manageable is a viable thing, and a victory is a victory. Well, it's good to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear that. Maybe I need to like try and get that in my head more. I just worry that I feel like I'm bending the rules, and yeah, it feels like we're not legitimate with the stuff. But yeah, I think I need to find a better balance. So I'll certainly remember that next time. Zemna saying it was never a stipulation that you couldn't switch stipulations. That is true. That is true. And that chaotic finale between you and Nathan, I'll never forget that. Yeah, that was insane. That was ridiculous. And then following on with Ben Griffiths saying, I still can't believe you crashed the jet ski. That was amazing. Oh, that moment when I went to go and change the HDMI switcher and yeah, crashed the jet ski. That is a moment that will live in Resident Evil Challenger for forever now. So I've done 17 years where I've never crashed the jet ski. And now it's happened. You send me crushed by a boulder, send me fail quick time events, send me now crash a jet ski. Call me Nougie Gibbard, basically. I have been initiated into the Gibbard family, I feel. Izzy says, totally agree. If you chucked me on any other game, I'd be a snail. That's not true. Every game you've done so far, Izzy, you've absolutely smashed. You've done your homework. You've done some great stuff with. Gowdy says, there's not many people that could have done what you've done this weekend. Hold your high up, King. Hold your head up, high King. You've done amazingly. Big love. Thank you much. Cedo saying, maybe do RE2 Nightmare as a stream in the distant future. Well, Gowdy actually brought up quite an interesting idea when I was chatting to him on Discord earlier. He was just like, surely there's enough of these challenge killers, we're calling them now, that there could just be a challenge where I just do challenge killers. But then I'm worried that trying to do the challenge killers will then kill the challenge killer challenge. So yes, maybe it would work better as like individual streams. Like we've still got the hot dogger only thing to try and do at some point. Although watching Nathan cakewalk through it on assisted mode, maybe he's the man to do 3 remake. Yeah, he absolutely smashed that. But yeah, two nightmare mode is definitely something to be revisited at some point. But for sure, I definitely need to do my homework and give that a practice. Aaron Hooper, good to see you. Nice popping in. Is he saying Luke Della Gibbard? Is he saying, have I ever died on the concrete slab in Code Veronica? I have, but never in a live stream. So that's the difference. Cool, so continuing going through what we did, let's talk about Nathan on Code Veronica with knife and percentage weapons only, kill all bosses. So yeah, the first time we'd seen Nathan play Code Veronica in over 2 years, which yeah, is always fun, always great. And he did, to be fair, that was actually a pretty damn hard stipulation to do. I mean, the fact that you only get the double pistols, assault rifle, and the submachine guns for the entirety of the game, like, yeah, you are basically doing knife only for most of it. And as we saw, like, most of those weapons don't really seem to do much against Final Alexia. So even on that, he was still, like, doing the knife shots. But got his head down, really powered through it. Like, a real stellar performance there from Nathan. Like, you guys are 100% right. Like, he has earned the title of Giga Chad. Like, that is now 3 challenges. He has just steamrolled through. None of this Nougie drama, none of this crazy stuff. He gets his head down. He doesn't fuck about. He gets on with it and he smashes it. He gets results. He doesn't get results with his audio from his computer, but he absolutely smashes the games. So that was actually quickly going back onto that with the technical stuff. So yeah, just to tell you guys what was going on. So we had a massive setup on the Friday night. I always like to try and set things up the night before so we can sort of like just walk in the following day and, you know, it's all there and we're good and we don't have the challenge stress. But yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get Nathan's PC set up that night. So we started setting his PC up at 10:30 in the morning, which, you know, an hour and a half before the challenge I thought was hairy, but he seemed very confident that it would be fine. It then got to like 11:30 and we were still setting up the audio for his PC. There was still nothing coming through. And yeah, we were really sweating. And yeah, another hour passed. You know, like it got to 12 and we were still nowhere getting it fixed. So we obviously had to start the stream quite a bit later. I think that's the latest we've ever started a stream. 30 minutes. Which, again, really sucks. Especially for the people that got up early for it. Up in the States, you know, go up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come and watch a challenge, and then you get there and you got to wait for another 30 minutes. I totally get it. That absolutely sucks. I'm really sorry that happened. But yeah, I mean, the tech setup that we had for this challenge was just ridiculous. In total, we had 5 computers, 2 PS5s, an Xbox, and with everything that was plugged in to the live stream, there were 3 HDMI cables going through with all of the splitters, plus 3 wireless audio mics, an audio recorder, the camera recording everything. It's like the biggest setup we've ever had. There's just so much going on. But also at the same time, whilst that is a lot, one thing that I do really want to improve, I know because like a lot of people have been talking about it, is I really want to try and figure out a way how, if we, at least just for the race, I don't know if it would make sense to do it for the whole challenge, but I really do want to figure out a way that we can try and split screen it, because it would be really cool if you could see all of us racing at the same time. I don't know if it might be a bit overwhelming seeing us all playing 3 different games at the same time. But I don't know. This is also another thing why I wanted to do this Hangout stream. So I really wanted to get your guys' opinions on stuff like that. Is that something that you think would really work? Do you think the kind of format already so far is pretty good, but a split screen would be good? Do you think putting a split screen in is already pushing a very complicated setup as it is? Another thing I was going to ask as well is that I haven't actually been able to find like another kind of split screen sort of stream with like 3 gamers to sort of get as a reference to kind of see how it would work. So like even with like the challenge we were doing, you know, with 3 gamers, like I haven't been able to find any references of anything similar to try and do. So all of this stuff we've been learning on the job as we've been trying to create it and do it. So yeah, there certainly have been a lot of technical difficulties, but without blowing our own trumpet, I do genuinely think we are sort of like, you know, bearing in mind we don't have like a live streaming crew doing this. The live streaming crew are the 3 gamers that are also filming a documentary and taking part in the stream. Yeah, I do genuinely think we are sort of pushing the boundaries of that. But Amy, bless her, who came and joined in the stream towards the end, has said that, you know, she'd be keen to try and help out with a bit more tech stuff in the background in the future. And I think just having that will just kind of help make things a little bit more level and will hopefully be a little bit more plain sailing in the future. Catching up on the other little bits. Gowdy saying, if it will cheat up a little bit, I'll let you win on reverse next time we play. Motherfucker! Talking about Gowdy, oh actually that's something I can confirm to you guys. We will be doing a live stream with Gowdy next year. It's going to be on WrestleMania weekend in, I believe it's April next year. But yeah, Gowdy has his flights confirmed. He's coming over to the UK and we will be doing a Community Dice live stream and it will be on Resident Evil 2 Remake. And we've been shooting the shit trying to figure out some ideas of what we're going to do for it. And yeah, we're going to do it with a Switch Gamer idea as well. So we did it on the Resident Evil 3 live stream with Ant earlier this year that I thought worked really well. So if you roll a certain number, it will change between me, Gowdy, and potentially Izzy. I need to confirm with Izzy if they're up for trying that. But yeah, that should be really fun. So April next year, there will be a community dice with Gaudi. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be another community dice before then as well. Yeah, we've definitely got quite a few streams in the pan for next year, which I'll update you with very, very soon. But yeah, back to the point of Reverse. I really enjoyed the little community gaming session we had last week. That was really, really fun. I really enjoyed handing Gaudi's ass to him multiple times. But yeah, we should definitely look to get another one of those sessions done in the next couple of weeks before Christmas. Let's try and find a date, find an evening when everyone's free and do another Reverse session, because that was really, really fun. That was great. Zemna is saying, I get you and everyone takes these seriously, as you should, but remember these challenges are what they're created for, to be for fun. You're 100% right. 100% right. I do need to stop taking this stuff so seriously, but yeah. When you got 60 people on your back and it's that close, it's, man, you have to be pretty fucking amazing to not feel gutted at all. I'm definitely feeling a lot better already just from doing this stream. So yeah, thanks joining in, guys. This has been really fun so far. Is he saying we'd have to change the overlay and make it less fancy to fit 3 screens in? Yeah, definitely a discussion to try and figure out, but it's an idea at least for sure. Chris Tennant says, love OG setup with camera on TV instead of capture cards. Oh. Nice. So, yeah, continuing through with what else happened. Resident Evil 3 remake. So, yeah, we had the lucky dip for that. Started with Nightmare Mode. We all know how Nightmare Mode went during the challenge. Yeah, Nathan tried that. And, yeah, it was not dissimilar to my Nightmare Mode experience of just death, 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 death. How long have we been playing for? About 30 minutes. Yeah, it is a bitch on that. Yeah, very tough, very brutal. And yeah, maybe a bit too big balls for that, I think. But good on him for realising that nice and early. We redrew it. We spiced it up as well. You know, we made the season 4 thing where if he redrew the same thing, then it's back to the start. So, you know, high risk, high reward kind of situation, which adds more to it. But I don't know what we would have done if he'd redrawn Nightmare Mode again. Like, where do we stand? Maybe that idea of redrawing but taking the same step again is, again, maybe a bit too brutal. Maybe we're just being a bit too hard with that sort of stuff. So maybe next time, do you think, you know, take a lucky dip, you experience it, it's not working, throw it in the bin, get rid of it, move on to something else? Is that the approach we take next time? Let me know what you think. Cedo saying, nobody will ever be on your back for anything. We are always behind you. Appreciate that a lot, Cedo. And yeah, as you said, yeah, serious amount raised. 25.2k now. So yeah, a very amazing amount that we managed to fundraise. So yeah, top work there with everyone. Josh Sullivan, hey. Thank you for joining in. Ben Griffith saying, what RE games you played on Community Dice before be replayed on hard difficulties? So we've still got, well, we're going to revisit RE3 next year, hopefully, with Ant, which will be around the meetup weekend time. So we got to revisit that, try and do that again. That was another live stream where forgetting to take the knife ultimately meant not a victory, but you know, at least that was Team REC versus the community. So that was a bit different. I definitely think that RE1 remake, the difficulty could be notched up for sure, because the difficulty didn't really seem to be an issue with that. It was just that we ran out of time. That for whatever reason, I mean, that was the first one we did, and we're trying it out. But yeah, we set the time limit to 11 PM, I think it was. So I think it was only about 5 hours to get the whole game done. And with all of those resets we had, just meant we ran out of time. And the fact that I was actually at the lab, you know, I was 5-10 minutes away from the end of the game. I think it was actually 5 minutes. I think I'd just beaten the lab tyrant. The fact that I ran out of time that close to the end with those amount of resets and those stipulations, I do think the difficulty could be notched with that. However, at the same time, I don't know how many people here are super keen for difficulty notches for a little bit. Zemna says, sounds like a good idea for Chan swaps. Toss the old on a redraw. Yep, that sounds fair. Jordan Griffiths also talking about the internet cutoff. That was an unexpected moment on RE3 OG. Yeah, well, fortunately, the internet played ball yesterday. And also, the stream didn't go down, amazingly. So, you know, you want to find a positive. Stream didn't crash. All of you who bet against the stream crashing, you lost. Which I don't know if you saw it in the Discord, but yes, we did get the results for the quiz, for the Resident Evil Challenger quiz. People put in their predictions and bets on various things throughout the challenge. And guess who won it? Nobby McKenna. Nobby McKenna bet on most things. Bet on most things on the destruction of the challenge. Bet on this guy screwing over a load of things. So Nobby got it right. He won that. So Nobby, there will be a Resident Evil Challenger mug in the post to you. And if you fancy it, Seedol very generously put up a Lady Demetresque poster if you fancy it. So let us know and you can put it up in your new gaff. Other things that went on during the challenge. So Nathan did Resident Evil 1 Challenger Edition mod, no reloading. That was a lot of fun. It was great to see Nathan playing it. It was also hilarious that he played so much of it without doing the stipulation. Like that was absolute gold. I just couldn't believe that. It was a shame that we were so close to the end that he did have to kind of rush through it to try and do it in time. And it was so close, 30 minutes that he managed to do it with. But never mind. Hopefully we can do that again at some point. But yeah, it was good that we finally got to see Nathan playing through that. Izzy doing Village on hardcore mode was, for me, like potentially one of the biggest standouts of the challenge. Like, hardcore mode is not something to fuck around with at all. And the fact that Izzy managed to do it, your second playthrough, am I right? Second or third? And you did that well, beat it that quick. I mean, I know there were some boss fights and a couple of sections that were a real slog, but absolutely breezed through it, I think, generally. So, hats off to Izzy. Oh, not yet. We'll save that for the end of the stream. So yeah, well done for that, Izzy. And also doing End of Zoe. Yeah, that was cool. Good to see that wildcard coming through. I know that you weren't the biggest fan of End of Zoe. I know you're not the biggest fan of the 7 engine. I know you're not the biggest fan of just punching your way through it, but I thought it was good. It was fresh. It was good to see something different. It was good to see a blind playthrough. It was good to see End of Zoe, which has never been featured in any of our content before. And it was also good to see Leech Hunter not appearing in a challenge. So yeah, I think we're all very grateful for that. Izzy's second playthrough of Village on hardcore mode. Yeah, that certainly was big balls. And yeah, Resident Evil 5, 1 healing item per chapter. Again, classic Gibbard, cakewalked through all of it. Like very few sections that caused you like trouble, but even that trouble, only took a couple of goes and you got through it. So yeah, Gibbards did very well during the challenge. Things that I did, 7 Madhouse mode. Yeah, I think that was a super last minute decision that I made to do it without the defense coins. Yeah, I did a playthrough last weekend with defense coins, and I managed to get a finish time of 5 hours 30, which I thought was very, very good. I was really pleased with. And I actually found that playthrough genuinely, because I have done, I think I did 3 practice runs on Madhouse. I genuinely found it with Defense Coin. I didn't found it much of a challenge. There was like nothing that caused any issues. I had very few deaths on that playthrough I did last weekend, which is why I decided to do it with no defense coins, which then did make it a challenge. But, you know, I don't really think it was too challenging. Like, I thought that was like kind of more the good balance of like pushing yourself. But yeah, without it being like, you know, too frustrating. So 7 Madhouse, I was really pleased with. I thought that was great. 2 Remake, I was also really pleased with. Like, I got the RPD done in 2 hours. At that point, you know, game 3 in the early hours of the morning, I was really pleased with. Sewers, I got through really quick as well. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but like from the sewers onwards, it just suddenly lost all my ammo, and just getting to G3 Lab Birkin is where it all just went downhill and just got stuck for ages. It just took a really long time, and ultimately I think that time lost, yeah, was what made it run out of time ultimately. So yeah, that was a shame, but that I'd also practiced about 3 times before and hadn't caused too much grief. But you know, all the distractions, being that fatigued and everything, do make such a massive difference to what you're actually doing. So never mind. I still thought, but you know, by and large, it actually wasn't too bad. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 Christmas Edition mod, definitely underestimated. Like, RE2 I feel was one of my strongest games in the series, but yeah, Nightmare mode, fuck me, that was not fun. That was not fun anywhere, despite it being one of the most fun mods that have ever been made. That was not a fun experience. That was just way too hard. The zombies do way too much damage. The zombies you can't even knock over. The zombies you can't kill. They take like 20, 25 rounds to kill. The bosses are bullet sponges. The zombies everywhere. I had to like, where I lost so much time. I don't think you guys actually saw like loads of me playing it, because we were like jumping around the switcher quite a lot. But yeah, I was just constantly having to take real long ass routes around the RPD to just try and avoid zombies. And just, yeah, just lost time. Really took time for granted. I thought like, I think it was 4.5 hours I had for 2. Really thought that was very, very doable, regardless of whatever stips. But yeah, turned out 4.5 just was not. So live and you learn with these things. It's always a growing experience, and you know, doing these things over 17 years, yeah, has always been an experience, and we've come so far to where we were back in 2005. So you can't win everything. It's all just motivation for moving forwards and getting better and improving and doing things next time. So trust me when I say lessons have been learnt from this next one. And yeah, I'm very, very excited for the next one. And on that point, talking about the future of Resident Evil Challenger, because I know lots of people want to talk about where we're going next. Because I know I had that video a couple of weeks ago with the end of an era with REC. And the main thing about that was mostly like with the fundraising that, you know, we've been doing it for, you know, 2.5 years. Started it in April, I think it was April or May 2020. So 2.5 years we've been doing the fundraising, and it just had to have an end point, you know, like so many incentives that we've done, all of these different goals that we've had over the years that we've tried to achieve. And yeah, it's just like, you know, we've got, and let's not forget, we've got a Dare show that's definitely going to be coming next year in 2023. So that's something fun to look out for. But yeah, I just felt like it was at a point where I just don't want to run it into the ground. I think an important time is knowing when it's time to call it, and to like leave it at a good point when it's not boring, or, you know, it hasn't been, you know, hasn't outstayed its welcome. And 25k to me seemed like a really, really nice sum to leave it on, to finish it on, to wrap it up on. especially with what's happening now. You know, when we started this, when we're in the pandemic, people were at home, people had spare cash, people aren't going out, people aren't going to the pub, people aren't having like entertainment. You know, it was a very different like kind of thing to where we are now in the UK with like cost of living crisis. People are being pushed. Energy is costing so much more. People paying so much more for their rent, for their mortgages, for their house. You know, like to me, it just didn't. It felt like it wasn't like the right thing to keep saying like donations here, donations here. We're pushing to this, putting the responsibility into your guys' hands to help us get these goals, to get these things. You know, and I totally get that you do these things out of the kindness of your hearts because you want to, but I just felt like it was the right time to call it there. With that being said, we've got community dices that we're going to do, and you know, they all work with the dices being rolled. And so we will still be doing donations with those, and the way it will work in the future is on each challenge that we do, each community dice or anything like that, we, you know, whoever's in, you know, the lead gamer, or if it's like a switch gamer thing where, you know, it's sort of going between multiple people, we will decide a charity that we feel, you know, is relevant at the time or something that's close to our heart. And all dice rolls and all money that we get will go to that individual charity for that stream. But the difference is that we won't be having this big goal that we're pushing to, this big thing that we're moving towards through everything. So that is how things will be a bit different next year. It's not that we're stopping doing content, we're stopping, you know, like any of these kind of things. It's just that this big donation goal, I just felt, had run its course. And yeah, 25, well, not even 25k, 25.2, because you guys are just so generous. You're so amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing number that we've managed to reach it to. So yes, once again, hats off to all of you for that. So thank you very, very much. Thank you for the love and all of the messages. That's lovely stuff. So yeah, that's about the donation goals. Let's talk about future of Resident Evil challenges. Let's talk about them. So yeah, in that end of an era video, yeah, I spoke about the challenges taking like a breather, having a pause until 2025, and I'll explain like my mindset and my reasons, like how we got to that point. Like, you know, as I kind of said, 4 challenges over 2 years. It's just like, yeah, it's unofficially season 5 of Resident Evil Challenger, really. Like, I was thinking about this earlier today, that technically yesterday was like challenge 4 of season 5, really. Like, I know that it's over 2 years rather than like 1 year that we used to do, but unofficially we have done it, really. And it is just a lot. It's a lot to do in the background, a lot of content to make with the hype and all of the assets, the animation, setting things up, trying to, you know, like Nathan's family is like big commitments, jobs, you know, stuff that's going on with me, life, you know, just felt like a lot. And I was also just like, yeah, I was just finding things a little bit like the past couple of streams over the past few months, if I'm totally honest, like hadn't been doing as well as I've been hoping for. Like during the pandemic, we'd done amazing. Like we'd done really well, had like crazy views, crazy log-ons, crazy support, you know, crazy numbers. It's the best Resident Evil Challenger I'd ever done. And then obviously like things have changed after that. Pandemic ended. People can leave the house. People can start doing things again. Of course, there's going to be less people on YouTube, less people watching live streams. So yeah, it just sort of changed the dynamic of all of that. But yeah, I was just like worried whether the interaction of Resident Evil Challenger was changing. I wasn't sure whether, you know, like Nathan was finding it like too difficult trying to commit to all of these things that we're doing. Wasn't sure if he was losing his love for his interest. Wasn't sure if it was maybe the same with Izzy. So that was how I kind of got to the point of saying, you know, Challenge 2025 felt like the next thing to do, because we've always done things in like these 5s, you know, Challenge, you know, Challenge in 2005, season 1, then challenge 2010, then challenge 2015, then challenge 2020, challenge 2025. Really feels like the next one in the course to have done. But I will admit, I will be honest, I will say that, you know, when I did that video, like, yeah, I guess I maybe hadn't thought it through massively, just about like 3 years. And 3 years is a really, really long time. And yeah, after we finished like the challenge, like the views that we had over the weekend were amazing. Like, I don't think the view count ever drops below about 50. Even when we were going through the early hours of the morning. I know you never said that, Izzy. I'm just saying. I just wasn't sure if it was a point that I thought we were all, you know, getting to. Yeah, the viewer count like never really dropped below like 50, even when we're going through the early hours of the morning, and the chat was constantly popping. People were loving it. People were like sending these lovely messages like, thank you for everything you've done. These touching messages of like how content has helped people. Thank you for lockdown. Thank you for, you know, various years of our lives. We love the challenges. We love this. We love that. The messages we got at the end, you know, 60 people watching like, you know, for like 24 hours. Like, it was just crazy that we had all of that. And at the end, like, Izzy and Nathan, like when we were in the room, we went offline, like looked like really emotional about like it being 2025 until, you know, the next one we would do. And Izzy was just like really upfront and was just like, whenever you want to do one, I will do it. If you want to do a challenge tomorrow, I will do it. I want to, you know, do it. And then like, what really surprised me, Nathan was just like, yeah, like I'll do it as well. And yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is, and I've got nothing, you know, I can't give you a concrete anything. All I can say right now is that 3 years is a long time. I cannot wait 3 years to do another Resident Evil challenge. Yesterday was like, even though it sucks at the end, was one of the best weekends I've ever had. I loved it. It was great. That adrenaline rush was insane. And when you do it with 3 gamers, because it's been a year and a half, you know, it's June 2021 that we did the 3 gamer challenge. When it's all 3 of us gaming, it's so much better than the solo challenge. The solo challenge last year was great, but it's just not the same. When we got 3 of us doing it, it was insane. And just the rush, that feeling when we did it, doing it over the weekend, it's just nothing like it. I can't wait 3 years. It will certainly be much sooner than that. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to commit to it yet. I'm very aware. I'm still quite emotional. There's still like a lot of things going on, you know, how I'm feeling after everything that we've done. But I just want to make you guys very aware that it will be happening much sooner than that. Like, yeah, we just love this content too much. Life is short. Life is limited. You never know what's around the corner. And yeah, hanging out with some of my best friends and having these live streams and everything that we're doing, whether it's, you know, for charities, whether it's not, it's just this experience. It's just, yeah, definitely want to do some more content, you know. And we've got so many things around the corner. There is another, this is another exclusive that you're going to get here. There is another Resident Evil Challenger mod that's almost finished, nearly done. It will be coming out early next year. I'm not saying any more. I already said more than I should. But, you know, I love you guys. I love the support. You stayed up for 24 hours. You gave us so much love and support. I want to give some things back. There's another mod. So we got that. I want to do some live streams around that. I want to get that in some challenges. Yeah, there's loads of things going on. We got the meet up next year as well. You want another exclusive? Go on. Let's keep doing it. Let's do it. Let's get this stuff out. We've got another exclusive. We got the meet up next year. I've been sitting on this secret for a while. We got a massive surprise guest coming to the meet up next year. A big one. A really big one. And I'm not going to tell you who it is. It will be revealed in time, but there is a massive guest that is coming. So yeah, we've got the meet up next year, which is going to be amazing. So yeah, there's lots of stuff to look forward to in 2023 with Resident Evil Challenger. So yeah, I just wanted to just, you know, send some love back to you, say how much I enjoyed this weekend, even though the ending was deflating and wasn't what we envisaged, it wasn't what we hoped for. And no, Gowdy, you're not the massive guest. We all know you're coming. Really looking forward to it, man. But yeah, 2023 is going to be a big year for Resident Evil Challenger. Stay tuned to our content. And yeah, I feel like I'm the Undertaker with this stuff. Like, I'm becoming a bit of a caricature, really, where I just keep saying, this is the last one. Nope. This is the last one. Nope. But surely you guys now have heard this enough that you know what I'm like. So, yeah, surely you knew that that was going to be the case. So, yeah. I said this stream was going to be about an hour long. I know Izzy needs to head off as well. I'm itching to play Callisto. I think I've pretty much got off my chest what I wanted to say. Already feeling so much better from having done this live stream today. And thank you for joining in so last minute. It has been great. And it's been lovely to see you all. But yeah, lots of great stuff around the corner. And there's also one other reason why I did this live stream today, because when we went off air and we finished the challenge, I realised I hadn't done one thing. And that was this. And no, I haven't been wearing this hat since then. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Love you all. Thanks for making this such an incredible weekend. Taken us 17 years. We've hit 3K subs, which is great. We're never the biggest channel. We're never the best channel with racing. But I know no other community anywhere in the world that are like you guys. You're very special and you're all amazing. So yeah, keep following us. Loads more stuff to come up. And we will see you in 2023. Have a wonderful, Merry Christmas all. And yeah, keep up the Resident Evil challenging. We'll see you soon.